Good day, Trinidad and Tobago. It is Sunday, 28th of May, 2017. It is 1 o'clock. And yeah, we're doing a video today. Every now and then we do a video on a Sunday. We were supposed to do it at 2. I'm not sure as to why we end up with so much time left now. So we're starting earlier. I apologize. So we're starting now. And while we wait for the audience, let's play the new national anthem of the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This is it. Spread the word. Call them out.
Tell them I'm feeling good, like a new machine, like morning dew, fresh on the scene. I'm in the party to the full extreme.
Let everybody know. Spread it far and wide.
With gasoline, all your the city. Good bundle, we jumping still, we jumping still.
Spread it. Share it.
Good bundle, we jumping still, we jumping. Just hold them and walk them, hold them and walk them, hold them and walk them, hold them and walk them. Just hold them and walk them, hold them and walk them, hold them and walk them.
A nation called Do What the Hell You Like Land. Your Prime Minister say, whatever they do, forget it. Give me a break, man. And where the people? How come we're not in the street? Your Prime Minister is a highly paid servant. He's a public servant. His job is to enforce the rules and to oversee his own appointees. What Shamfa Kujo and Daryl Smith did are deserving of a firing, not excuse making. Keith Rowley, miss me with that bullshit. Not today. Call them out. Take your 3 assistants in the Ministry of Sport, take them to Tobago. Taxpayers will pay for that. Your boss will say, give them a break with that, man. $92,000 for a 3-day romp. Your business, you and your wife in Chile on the taxpayer dime, while the next clown in the Ministry of Sport who tell him around soon. Anyway, stick a pin in that. We're coming back to that. Coming back to you. Keep rolling. We're dealing with you. But wait. Bigger fish to fry. Believe it or not. What's it feel like? What's it feel like? I want to give a big shout out to Insane Creations, a t-shirt company. They make these t-shirts for me. They stepped up to the plate, and I want to tell you something. Any company that can work as hard as they do, as fast as they do, the quality, the price, the delivery, everything is spot on. That is a company that doing from one t-shirt up. Get them the business. They don't buy my shirts or these shirts. Buy anything you want from them. But look at the quality of the shirt. And they deliver it on time every time. So, Insane Creations. I'll give you their number. 282-8341. She will at some point, Lila Machado will at some point come and add her logo to the thread. Yeah? But before we get into that issue with Keith Rowley and his, what do you call them? His OJTs, his apprentices. He said it is a crisis of not incompetence. It is the tempestuousness of youth. He has hired people who cannot do the job. We will deal with that. We will deal with that. But I want to big up an issue. Richard Board sent a picture of a tray of mangoes in Massey stores. 6 starch mango. A starch mango is fit inside your hand. You can hold 6 starch mango in one handful. $37.50. This is a nation where 5 food import companies are paying governments, whether it is UNC or PNM, bribing governments not to grow food. It is why fertile food land is becoming strip malls and why they're going to shut down Central Market. Step 1, take away a third and call it a walkover. This is not a real country. In a real country, you do not build cinemas on farmland. In a real country, you expand your markets, not shut them down for a walkover for squatters. But even that we have to stick a pin in. I tell Trinidad and Tobago, I'm not on bullshit. Call me out. See my style? Call me out. Call me out anytime you see. Anytime you see I do something where you need to call me out, call me out. I want to tell you something. The people who like to take chin up, you see the PNM modus operandi, and as the PNM modus operandi from Eric Williams' day, whoever teach Eric, just teach him well. And then Basdio Pandey, who learned genuflected at the altar of the People's National Movement, because that's where Basdio Pandey learned his bullshit. They have a method where they assassinate your character. Forget the message, kill the messenger. Once you destroy the messenger, the message will die. So for people who don't have stones and backbone like me, they're afraid to step out there because they'll attack and destroy your name and your reputation. But they have a couple lawyers. And if I had the money to properly fund this party, I will try to dislodge them from the UNC. Wayne Sturge and Gerald Ramdeen, those are 2 maestros, those are 2 artists. Gerald Ramdeen is an artist, and I tell him that today. I told Gerald Ramdeen, you ain't start to paint your masterpiece yet. I watch an entire law fraternity sit dumb, mute, stupid. They say a word. The entire law fraternity, the law association, senior counsel, silk and cheap cloth, all of them shut up. When Mr. Ramdeen said, Mr. Chief Justice, that appointment, those 2 appointments are wrong in law. When he said that, everybody said, let's wait and see what happens. The Chief Justice came to the public and said, Gerald Ramdeen, I am not quoting the Chief Justice directly. I am using my words, but words to the effect that Mr. Gerald Ramdeen is talking a crocus bag of ass. In 5 days, the system almost collapsed. We had riots in the jail, riots in the prisoner docks. All of a sudden, it dawned on everybody that you could not take a sitting chief magistrate and appoint her as a judge without dealing with the matters. She said that she only had 3 matters outstanding. 2 of them was nothing matters. It turns out she had 53. So the Chief Justice pushed her over on her sword. She resigned. Whether she resigned of her own volition or not my circus, not my monkeys. But what I do know is the Chief Justice, in pushing her over on her sword, tried to escape responsibility as the Chief Justice and the head of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission that made the appointment in the first place. Anywhere else a clusterfuck of that magnitude is done, you fire the people who did it. They have an old joke. Somebody sent me a greeting card once. It said, rumor has it, when they made you, they broke the mold. And when you open the card, it says, I hear they also beat the crap out of the mold maker too. And it's a joke. But it shows and it goes, and the point of it is the responsibility. Mr. Chief Justice, you failed at an epic level. You were supposed to stand down. You were supposed to resign. You are not supposed to force the country into a crisis now where it is going to look to impeach you. And for all the lawyers and the law associations and everybody who jumping in there now trying to prop up a collapsing judiciary, slow all your roll. This is a nation ruled by law. Let the law work. Gerald Ramdeen said again, so all of those lawyers, the entire law fraternity who were dumb, mute, stupid, who had nothing to say when Gerald Ramdeen was the only one ringing the bell and saying, listen, it is wrong in law, it cannot work, you are making a mistake, it is a huge embarrassment, you will affect and damage the judiciary. When it came to pass and he was correct and proven right and sentient, all of the overnight silks start to publish. They're publishing in a ream and tombs of documents come out because everybody had an opinion then. Now that the matter has been settled and proven correct. So what happened since? They tried to reappoint the chief magistrate, who was elevated to a chief judge. They tried to say, well, she was never really fired as a chief magistrate, so we put her back. But they said, but that cannot happen. Israel Khan stepped up and said, that cannot happen. That is wrong in law. It is erroneous. It's a miscalculation. It is foolishness. You cannot do it. It will cause a problem. They back off of that. Now they're saying that all 53 matters that she left are going to have to start over. Once again, Gerald Ramdin is ringing the alarm bell, and he is telling the Chief Justice that that is wrong in law. So I called Mr. Ramdin today and I asked him to explain to Trinidad and Tobago what exactly is going on. And I'm calling Gerald Ramdin right now to give you all an update in his own words, because right now the only legal luminary in this country leading the way and shining the light on the path as to how we have to come out of this morass is Gerald Ramdin. Good afternoon, Gerald. How are you?
Good afternoon, Philip.
The viewers would like an if you could, as short and easily to understand version of what exactly is going on with our judiciary.
Well, I don't know how short you can make it. It started on the 7th of April, about approximately a month and 3 weeks ago, when I raised concerns about the impending appointments to the judiciary. And thereafter, it has all been downhill. The most recent debacle that has taken place is that a group of persons, chaired by the Chief Justice, invite themselves to a meeting and decide what takes place in judicial proceedings that affects 53 people. 6 of the people who are invited to that meeting are judges of the High Court and the Court of Appeal, 3 of the High Court, 3 of the Court of Appeal. 1, the DPP was there, and leading members of the bar, together with the acting chief magistrate and the registrar of the Supreme Court. And under the leadership, if you want to put it that way, of the Chief Justice, they decide what happens in relation to matters that are before a court of law. And one cannot understand or fathom the idea that 6 judges, together with the Chief Justice, together with the acting chief magistrate, didn't think while they were sitting there that the people who are most directly affected by this matter are supposed to have a hearing. That they didn't think. One of the persons who was sitting there was a former DPP. How could you sit in a meeting? How is it possible that you could sit in a meeting and the person who is prosecuting or in charge of the prosecution of these people?
Is this prejudging a matter?
Well, how else can you put it? If one side decides to sit with the judge, because the person who they have said is going to hear these matters now is sitting in a meeting with them, and they decide that at the end of the day, this person who is going to hear these matters, who is the deputy chief magistrate, is sitting there with the DPP, who is a party to the proceeding, and deciding what is going to happen with the proceedings.
You said, and the Guardian published this statement from you: this country's judiciary has time and again been able to withstand controversies throughout our nation's history. We have managed to do very well in surviving all of those instances, but one wonders whether we will survive this one which has transpired over the past 2 months. Because when one looks back at what has taken place over the last 2 months, I can say the judiciary and the administration of justice is under a greater threat than ever before, and we are clearly in very dangerous and very perilous times. What do you mean by that?
Well, we have been lucky. I think as a people, we've been lucky, Philip, because we were granted independence in 1962. Shortly thereafter, we had a challenge with what took place in the 1970s. We survived that. Thereafter, there was a move to remove a sitting High Court judge. That was Rees and Crane, when they tried to remove Alfred Crane as a sitting High Court judge. That went all the way to the Privy Council, and because the Privy Council was the final appellate court, we were able to get over that. We survived that. We had 1990. We survived that. We had a plot by a government in power to remove a sitting Chief Justice. We survived that. We had a plot by a Chief Magistrate together with an Attorney General. We survived that. we had a controversy between a sitting Attorney General in the form of Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj and a sitting Chief Justice in the form of Michael de Labastide. We survived that. But it has never been as bad as it is today. It is every step that the judiciary takes that is wrong.
You said in that interview, this has never been done before. Ramdin questioned what gave Archie the power to convene that meeting. Where does the Chief Justice get the power to do this? Where does this body of persons get the power to do this? That is a question that Trinidadians need to be asking this morning, because you said, what is to stop the Chief Justice Ivor Archie from convening another meeting behind closed doors outside of the court to determine other matters that should be handled in the courtroom? This is frightening time.
But Philip, I don't think that the people of Trinidad it is really sunk in or soaked into the people of Trinidad as yet. That what transpired on the 24th was an invitation going out to certain people, and they were told, as you have the letter there, if you read the letter you would hear what they were told, and when you read the press release that was issued by the judiciary, what was really going on? People were told to come there and talk about the administration of criminal justice. That is what they told them they were coming there to talk about. Do you know that the press release that was issued by the judiciary thereafter the meeting said that the meeting was convened to deal with the issue of what happens to these 53 matters? What stops? No, Philip, what stops those that are in charge of the administration of justice to decide next week, let us have another meeting and let us deal with all of these other matters, these politically charged matters. Let's have a meeting and deal with that. And let's call one side in and let's try and see how we could sort it out. What stops that from happening?
In the letter sent by Douglas Mendez in his capacity as president of the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, it says, "Dear Senior, I am directed by the Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Ivor Archie, to advise that His Lordship will convene a summit of key stakeholders to engage in constructive discussion on the administration of justice in the magistracy on Wednesday, 24th May 2017 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the Chief Justice's Conference Room, Hall of Justice, Knox Street, Port of Spain." Are you saying that letter that was sent out, what transpired in that meeting was something else entirely?
But when you read the media release that is on the judiciary's website, it says that the Chief Justice convened a meeting to deal with these 53 matters. That is what the judiciary said, not what Ramdin said. The judiciary is saying that.
What is our next step? Where do we go? Where do we go when you
let Trinidad and Tobago ask themselves today. Let them ask themselves today what they would have done if they were one of the 53 people. If you or I were one of the 53 people there that had a case before the magistrate, and then you hear that the person who's going to deal with your case had a closed door meeting with the prosecution who prosecuting you, and you don't know anything about it. You were not invited to it.
That's not justice. There's no way there's no way that could never be justice.
How is the chief? What I want to understand now, and let the Chief Justice tell us today, how is that person who was in that meeting, who had closed door discussions with the Chief Justice and with the DPP who was present there, going to sit on these matters now?
Who do we go to who has the authority? Does the High Court have the authority to rule on a matter if you bring this against the Chief Justice?
Well, it goes back to the simple question that has been asked over and over. Who judges the judges?
Where do we go from here?
Well, I can tell you this, Philip. This has been a public conversation that has taken place because of a lot of agitation by those people who care about Trinidad and Tobago and care about our future and care about our children. Because this is not about us. This is about people taking responsibility for where we are. Very often they say the politicians have us here. The politicians don't have us here today. Those that are responsible for the mess that the administration of justice finds itself in today, they're each and every citizen of this country. And when the time comes for you to judge yourself, you don't want to take responsibility for what you've done?
So, Gerald Ramdeen, I don't want to keep you back long on your Sunday, and I'm really thanking you for taking time off to try and explain this to the public, because I don't think the public understands the level, the height, the depths of the debacle that we're in right now with the judiciary.
Well, don't forget that on Thursday of this week, the Law Association is having a meeting to express a vote as to whether they will express a vote of no confidence in the Chief Justice as chairman of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. That is where we have reached. And before people, you should understand this, Philip, before people take responsibility and man up for what they have done, you know what is going on now? They're trying to get a movement of people to support them.
Politics.
To support what they are doing. That is what they're doing. Instead of they man up to what they have done, use the words of Martin Daly and say, beg pardon, and say, I was wrong. I can take responsibility for it. I am sorry, and let us move on and find a solution. No, what you want to do? Get people who have no right to vote in a law association meeting to come together and try and vote to support his stupidness. And that is why we are in this position. That is why we are in this position today. You could imagine that Thursday, the Law Association is meeting to decide whether they will express a vote of no confidence in the Chief Justice. And on Friday, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission is before the courts of this country because they didn't want to comply with the law.
Wow. Gerald, you have my full, unflinching support. Please keep sending all of the information as you get it so that I could share it with the public. And brother...
No, but Philip...
Stand strong.
We have to thank people like you who agitate in the public domain and educate the people, because we cannot depend on the people who are supposed to be leading us.
Clearly.
We cannot depend on that.
Clearly.
And when a country cannot have faith in the judiciary, they cannot have faith in anything, because the judiciary is the institution, and the judges are the people who are vested with the power to protect us. And when it comes that you cannot have confidence in the administration of justice, it means you cannot have confidence in the people who are vested with the power to protect us. It means we are unprotected. They are supposed to be the upholders of the Constitution. And if they cannot do that, if they cannot uphold the Constitution and the law, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the law. And if they cannot do that, then you have no right to be sitting there.
Where are we going? Where are we going, people? Gerald Ramdeen, thank you very much, my friend. Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Baba.
Where are we going? Where are we going, Trinidad and Tobago, when this morning, now, every lawyer, every member of the legal fraternity in this country has to be asking what is going on? But worse, every citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago needs to decide. These are the people charged with upholding the very Constitution that speaks the nation into existence. Where are we going, Trinidad and Tobago? Car business, everybody on the beach this morning, your Prime Minister in Chile, your Sports Minister rump, don't rump again if you're rumping. What the Permanent Secretary say? Find out who leaked. They're trying to bring this clown, Daryl Smith. You see, this is the country we live in now. And this is what you all have to pay attention to. This is what you all need to be making conversation on. So when I share this morning and I tell people, focus on this as an issue, I'll tell you why. Because if it were not for Gerald Ramdeen, all of that would have stood. It is Gerald Ramdeen and lawyers like him that brought this in the public space. You all know me. As give Anand Ramlogan licks more than anybody. Anand Ramlogan, every time he pop his head, he's getting licks from me. If it wasn't for Anand Ramlogan, all you and your mother and your tanty and your granny line up to fill out property tax forms right now. If it wasn't for him, the rest of the Law Association, the rest of the legal fraternity, dumb, mute, stupid, carry on. This is the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. There is a saying, but for a few people, that is all that stands between us and total darkness. This is a country that is being bribed to not grow food. Clarence Rambrat is not a jackass. Vasant Bharat is not a jackass. Devan Maharaj was not a jackass. Yet they were ministers of food production that did not grow food. How is that happening? How? How do we let this be us? All of the talking heads, all of the activists, all of the people outside there with a platform from which to speak. How do you feel knowing that if farming was a front burner issue, and that's not even what we come to talk about, but if farming was a front burner issue, starch mangoes couldn't sell for $6.25 for one in Massey stores. We are a nation controlled and corrupted by unseen forces, by hidden hands that bribe and direct corrupt politicians that force this nation to be in the calamity that it is in. This is not natural. This recession is a fake, fraudulent recession. I am telling Trinidad and Tobago, Colm Imbert need to be dragged before court for what he's doing to people. This cannot continue. You have to wake up, Trinidad and Tobago, because you're going to wake up in a country where you're going to can't get food. And if you could find food, you can't afford it. Argentina wake up once. Bread was $6. By lunchtime, it was $600. By the evening, it was $1,000 for a loaf of bread, you know. If you feel your money in your pocket will save you, you're wrong, you know. If you all don't understand how economic collapse works, find out, you know, on the same device you're watching me on. Google it. Google to find out how economic collapse works. But this, I keep saying, the only reason these things happen is we make these choices. We allow these things to happen. 1.5 million legal residents of Trinidad and Tobago and 500,000 come how they come. We allow this to happen. We allow a handful of people meeting in secret society boardrooms to determine the quality of the life that your family live. I said in a public meeting yesterday, we had a meeting yesterday, standing room only, and I said in that meeting, it should be law that any member, any public office holder cannot use a private hospital. Jail them for that. You're sick, your loved one sick, your child sick, your tangent, your granny sick. General hospital for that. So that you will see what the rest of Trinidad have to deal with. And if you can't fix it, get out the job. Because it could fix. When CNC3 took everybody on that fool's trip through Couva Hospital, it showed what a hospital could look like. All the hospitals supposed to look like. If you are the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, go to the General Hospital. If you are the Minister of Health, take your children and your mother and your father and go General Hospital. Don't go Sinclair. Don't go St. Joseph. Don't go West Shore. Go there. It's like I say, make blue lights illegal. I this close to telling Trinidad and Tobago, ignore them. The people who part in the traffic to pass through the traffic are the people with responsibility to fix the bloody traffic. How is that possible? How does that make sense? How in any way, in any sane society could that make sense? How could you have people who are responsible for solving the traffic, parting the traffic to get to a meeting to discuss traffic? Show up late. Let the Minister of Works and Transport leave his home 3 hours early like everybody else. Let the Prime Minister take jam in traffic. So when his jackass self reach in the parliament, in the cabinet, he will say, Rohan, you jackass. You know why it take me 4 hours to reach here? Traffic. Why we can't run a country? We are 1.3 million people. When you look at the whole map, you can't portray Trinidad. It's a dot. Tiny, it's a dot. That's what we are. We are a dot in the sea. A tsunami will take this entire country away. And I'm not calling that on us, but I need you to understand. We're tiny. We're a dot. I drove around the whole of Tobago in the morning. We're a dot. We cannot be so difficult to operate and run. We cannot be, and we cannot continue to accept this. This is no longer. Business as usual should not be allowed. This, whatever this is, it isn't working. 212 murders for the year to date. 212 people dead. What is going on? Nobody cares. And jackass Edmund Dillon saying to the media, he will not be bullied out of office. Brother, you're not being bullied out of office. You're failing out of office. You and Batman and Robin, all three of you all fail. All three. This is a country where the people are against the ropes, suffering because of government action. We have been destroyed by government after government. From Eric Williams' days, the people have been bent over, prostrate, and raped by government after government after government. And ask every single one of them why we still don't grow food. Drive from town to south. Use the old road. Look at all the former cane field land and tell me why that not growing. Breadfruit, avocado, guava, citrus, banana, everything that we eat. Why not? Why not? Why not mango by the mile? Why not? Why not? Why not? You don't have to water it, wait for rain. Why not? Why we not? Why we the people of Trinidad and Tobago not asking? You see, that's why I was watching Vasant Bharat and I'm telling you you're a jackass. Your job is to sit down and you were there. You had an opportunity to grow food. Devon Maraj, I told Devon, I said, give us the trees. I will organize the labor for free. We will plant the hillsides with fruits. Let the people eat. Let the people eat. I have emails back and forth, me and Devon. And this next clown, Clarence Rambarat, I have correspondence back and forth with Clarence Rambarat over the same thing. 2 years you're there. How does this continue? How? How does it continue? We importing. Congratulations to El Pecos for buying environmentally friendly, biodegradable packaging in place of Styrotex. But we importing it. And here, bamboos grow by the mile. Coconuts grow by the mile. You could grow hemp. You could grow anything that it takes to make these things and save the foreign exchange. To get into the industry and export to the world. Put our people to work. Give our people hope and opportunity. But we're not doing that. Because it's a jackass nation. Led by jackasses and jackasses defending them. Come on the walls and read every single day. At some point in some conversation, a jackass will show up. And derail the entire conversation with jackassery that has nothing to do with where we are, how do we fix it, and where do we go from here? So when I call people like Gerald Ramdin, I call Shamla Maraj, I call Gary Griffith, I'm calling people to tell Trinidad and Tobago it's not as bad as you think and it could fix. Because let me tell you something, we need a man like Gerald Ramdin as Chief Justice. Give him the work. He's young, he's bright, he's strong, give him the job. And tell him, clean house, brother. But you know what? I wouldn't do that, you know. If I ever had the opportunity of government, I will give him and Wayne Sturge the authority to go and find every one of them high-stakes bandits who thief this country money by the trillions and bring it back, brother. Bring it back. Keep half of what you bring back. Keep 50%. Because I know they will get it and they will do the job. That's what we need. That's where we need to go. That's how we need to be thinking. You have a prime minister call a press conference and give you a middle finger. That's what he did. The Express today, moving on. This video is called A Crisis of Leadership for a reason. Because I wrote something. But after I wrote that, the Express wrote something. And I want to share this first. And I'll get it for you right now if you give me a minute. But this, and somebody shared this to me today. The bottom line is this. The government is an employee. That's how I saw myself in government. Hired by an employer. The people. If the people are saying that they have a problem, it behooves the government to at least treat the people's concern with some respect. Again, repeat it again. The bottom line is this. The government is an employee. That's how I saw myself in government. Hired by an employer. The people. If the people are saying that they have a problem, it behooves the government to at least treat the people's concern with some respect. Keith Christopher Rowley, Tuesday, 30th September, 2008. Not 9 years later. Headline, give me a break. This is the Express editorial. When the Express reached the calling out. Dr. Rowley's double standard. How easy it is to forgive ourselves for that which we condemn others. In giving Minister Shamfa Cudjoe and Daryl Smith a free pass on their abuses of the public purse, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has demonstrated that when it comes to rectitude in public life, his standards are subjective to the point of self-serving. I could stop right there. I could stop right there, because for the past 2 years I have been hanging that man from the petard, the gallows of his own words. I have been demonstrating again and again and again that he has double tongue. He has 2 tongues in his mouth, and you never know which one to trust, because he say one thing when in opposition and something else entirely now that he's in government, and you have to face that reality. If the shoe were on the other foot with cabinet members of some other party being accused of wastage and abuse of public funds, Dr. Rowley would hardly be so sanguine in accepting experience and naivete as reasonable explanations. More likely, he would be leading the charge against greenhorns in the cabinet, calling for heads to roll and demanding accountability for every wasted cent of public funds. Yes, when it comes to public funds, there is no difference in principle between Minister Daryl Smith's $92,000 4-day Tobago romp and the $350,000 spent on roti for 2,850 persons by former Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, against which Dr. Rowley had so vehemently railed last November. The allegation then, as now, was not quantum, but the use of public funds for private purpose, which is the very definition of corruption. And I say today, Daryl Smith needs to be fired. He needs to be prosecuted and charged for misbehavior in public office and jailed for it. Let them see the consequences of their actions. Show up in the Ministry of Sport, Mr. Commissioner of Police, and put state-sponsored bracelets on his hands and take him away, because that is misbehavior in public office. Fire him, charge him, and prosecute his ass. Dr. Rowley is hardly exceptional in his eagerness to exonerate one of his own. In doing so, he is honoring a long tradition of double standards among our leaders, one suitable for opposition and another for government. What should caution him, however, is the price that prime ministers have inevitably paid for holding their own political interests above the public trust. I used to tell Kamla, call Manning on the phone. Rowley, call Kamla. And in summoning the rectitude of his personal spending habits as some form of reference in support of his minister, this issue is indeed about him. It's about his own judgment in the selection of his cabinet and having chosen inexperience over experience, finding himself repeatedly tested beyond his capabilities. I tell this to the yellow and steady sycophantic crew all the time. Don't give me the bullshit about how good Kamla was and is the people around her. Them people still there, and she choose them. So what are you telling me? How you could tell me vote for a party and not be concerned about the people that you know, you say by your own words, brings the prime minister into disrepute, and they're capable, and you want to vote them back. This is not the first time that Dr. Rowley has opted to throw himself on his sword to shield his government from missteps by members of his team. He did so for Marlene McDonald, who should be cooling her ass in a jail cell right now until public opinion left him no choice. For Camille Robinson Regis, when her cash deposit of $93,000 was red flagged for source of funds, that was never cleared up. She was never charged. Where is the Financial Intelligence Unit? Where is the Commissioner of Police? Where is the Organization of Corruption in the police service to deal with this? And now for Cudjoe and Smith. What his handling of Cudjoe and Smith indicate, however, is that public opinion may no longer have the power over him that it exerted early in his tenure when he felt necessary to fire McDonald. I disagree. This has also been evident in his early position regarding the sexist comments of former Mayor, Port of Spain Mayor Raymond Timke, who was forced to resign following a public outcry. Not just forced to resign, Keith Rowley himself was forced to backpedal because Keith Rowley tried to defend the foolish, boorish, caveman nastiness that came out of Timke's mouth, where he tried to blame that little girl, that little Japanese tenor Asami, for her own rape because she was in a carnival costume. That jackass, that roving son of a bitch who presides over the Port of Spain, was presiding as mayor of Port of Spain, and that is where the carnival was held. So you're saying that the carnival that you held allows people to put themselves in danger, and you never said that at the start? In a civilized world, that would make you a co-conspirator after the fact, and you should have been charged for her murder. But this is not a real country. This is the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Here, you can defend what you want. By contrast, his government has more recently elected to weather the storm of public opinion over Dr. Rolf Balgobin as its representative on Angostura board, notwithstanding the sexual harassment issues hanging over his head. Instead of acting in line with his espoused principles for governance, Dr. Rowley has chosen to burn up his own political capital to protect his government from allegations of wrongdoing. Not even he, however, can be assured of an unlimited supply. And it is to this I turn the issue this morning. Because your prime minister, as of now, is rogue to the nation. As of now, your prime minister is acting against the wishes of the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Worse, his finance minister is using state funds to fight the people, to force an unacceptable property tax, double taxation on the public who pay stamp duty, a large chunk of money that the government gets as a tax in front. He is fighting the public to make that a reality using state funds. This government needs to be fired. The person, Keith Rowley, that needs to be fired is himself. This is what I wrote. Were it not for Charmaine Babulal and her informants and sources, the nation may never have heard of the abuses taking place within the Ministry of Sport. And judging by the Prime Minister's response, neither would he, it would seem. Now that we have access to the information, what has come out of the embarrassing and glaring evidence of abuse at the highest level? A pass for state-sponsored philandering and a promise to bring to justice who's, wait for it, guilty of, wait for it, leaking information on high-level wrongdoing to the public. Yes? The government that came to power busting marks wants none of their own marks busted. And in place of a promise to bring whistleblower protection legislation, the Keith Rowley administration has instead turned, I have to find a way to read this, has turned 180 degrees, demonstrating a willingness to be the most oppressive, if not suppressive, government in our history. An attorney general who set the pace early on, looking for ways and means to curtail the power of social media to expose the indisciplined and corrupt criminality in the ranks, actually followed, ironically, a minister of tourism whose first pronouncement was that social media was making the country look bad. The same social media that exposed her abuse of a state-issued telephone to the tune of $59,000, causing the Minister of Finance to attempt to hoodwink the public that the Bahamas was not somehow to blame for not having Wi-Fi. And the Prime Minister to use his own technological inarticulateness as a defense for a minister, much more his junior, who, if that were held out as an excuse, were true, should have known better, but worse, even if it were true, could have been resolved by a high-level telephone call between corresponding members of this country and the Bahamas. Because she said she didn't use the data. It just attached to her phone. So the Bahamas, as a nation, would have simply written that off. None of that happened. Why? Because it was a lie. The public needs to see the bills and the printouts of the 4 days to show exactly where and how the phone was used. But we are hardly likely to get that as long as fake news and spin could suffice. Yes? But back to the issue at hand. Whistleblowers and real journalists like Miss Babulal struck a blow for social media by eschewing any of the beholding and complicit media houses in existence who themselves fails to address any of these issues until they are already chewed up and spat upon by social media users, once exposed as useless and of little value to the information chain. Barring things they get exclusive invitations to for information kept privy only for them, the need of established media willing to still invest in manipulating public opinion is becoming as useful as tits on a bull. Like the People's Partnership before it and the Manning PNM before that, the first to feel the real power of social media, this government is already in full-on collapse mode. And now that people have tasted blood, expect the feeding frenzy to explode. This is a government already awash in accusations of criminal corruption, malfeasance, and abuse of public office. Expect whistleblowers and sources to inform further overnight social media celebrity journalists to break stories to the detriment of the abusers. Threats of lawsuits are not having the effect the hierarchy of the government expected, and if anything, is provoking the opposite response. I believe Colm Imbert is about to be proven sentient, that his gaffe, his misspeak at an IMF gathering about the failure of the nation to riot may yet be proven prophetic. The people are behaving like a horse with a burr in its saddle. A burr is one of those things that have thorns all around it. It is prickling and stamping and heaving about, looking for that one final straw to throw them all in the streets. Social media is here to stay, as is the freedom of information exchange it wrought. Government needs to learn to deal with that, to learn to act honestly and respond respectively when the people, their ultimate employers, register their displeasure, and not attempt in any way to silence the public's right to information as to what is being done in their name and with their money. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Sport should be fired for having the temerity to launch a probe into the whistleblowing and not the wrongdoing it exposed in the first place. That person needs to be tried and convicted on social media for having the audacity to decide what the people should and should not know. Those tempted to test it, I caution you, look to the east, where states far more oppressive and dictatorial try to rein in a people fed up of governmental abuse. My sincere advice to Keith Rowley is stop the bullshit. The people are hanging you daily from your own words, while different from while you were auditioning for the position, and how starkly they differ to your actions now that you have the job. You who stirred the free information pot to your advantage while the previous government was in power may yet have to eat what was cooking. Tread carefully. Yes? These are the issues that govern where we are today. Trinidad and Tobago this morning have to wake up to the reality of where we stand. A crisis in leadership at every important level. Yeah? Let's check out some messages. So let us face up to the issue today as voters, as citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, because we could blame and talk and carry on as much as we want if, following on that, there is no action on our part, if there is no respect to the democracy from us, if we don't take our responsibilities as citizens seriously, we will go nowhere that we want to go. Trinidad is deteriorating at an alarming pace. Whether or not we choose to accept what our eyes see and our ears hear, it is happening. The country feels completely out of control. The political investor financer class is eating at a frenzy. Nobody has yet called for any inquiry into the scandal of the Emil Elias board taking state funds through TSTT to buy a failed communication company for 500 times its value. Nobody has called for an investigation there, but the police and the fraud squad should have been the first people on site. We need to get to a place where personalities do not matter. We need to get to a place where systems of governance protects the people, the public purse, and the national patrimony. We need to get to there. We are not going to get to there if the same wolf who is trying to eat you is in charge of writing your laws. You need to tell the government of the day, and you need to stand for that. You need to have an idea of what it is you as a citizen want and be willing to stand for and against. You are going to have to learn to sacrifice. You have to stop being selfish. We need 4 weeks straight of the avenue dead. Dead. We need Massey to go to the bank with empty money bags and deposit a $50, not a 50 million. Business in this country need to learn that the tail don't wag the dog. The consumers and the laborers who uphold, who underpin the economy, it is to you the responsibility lies. You and your malt and your half pack of cigarettes and your pack of cheesies. It is you giving these people the authority over you. Start to reclaim it. Start to impact positively on the national economy. Make better choices for yourself with what you do with your money. Pay off your credit cards. Do not take unreasonable loans. Save as much as you could. Buy cheap. Buy in the market. Avoid buying things that you do not need. If you have things in your house that you need to dust, but they do not serve you, you've been brainwashed and made a fool. Start saving your money and use it to buy important things like land and equity. Stop buying foolishness that you have to just mind and look after. Start standing with an idea as to what government is supposed to do. Inform yourself. Inform your neighbors. Forget the conversations of bullshit and stop the defending. Stop saying it okay if he do it because she do it before. Stop that. Stop that. Want better for yourself and for your country. Half a ship cannot sink. It is impossible for the PNM half of this boat to survive and the UNC half sink. Likewise, the other way as well. Start thinking of Trinidad and Tobago as Mother TNT. Start treating her with respect. Respect yourself, respect your neighbors, respect your community, respect your children. Make better choices. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, it is us responsible for our own demise. We allow this to happen in our name. Today, you've learned what is going on in the judiciary. You need now to decide, how do you get involved? Write letters, spread the word, share this video. Go and find other people who are speaking truth to you and truth to power and give them support. I applaud Gerald Randine this morning, and I want 100 more like him. We need activist parliamentarians willing to stand against the grain. Yes? Because if we don't get that,
You bloody deceiver. Talk it all. You serpent master. Talk it all. You friggin' oppressor. La da di da da da. La da di da da da. La da di da da da.
yeah? So, plenty talk. Today is Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your Sunday, Trinidad and Tobago. It was an immense pleasure coming to you as usual. And Monday evening, 8 o'clock, we're supposed to be back here live. And we'll be taking phone calls then. I am trying to get a number for Mr. Mariano Brown. Anybody who has Mariano Brown's cell number, send it to me. Or give Mariano Brown, tell him I am trying to reach him. Give him my number, 682-2110. I want to interview Mariano Brown live and on air because I believe he is a minister of finance that has a lot of information to share. He has institutional knowledge, and he doesn't seem to be concerned who vex when he talks. He's trying to bring facts to the public. Let's get Mariano Brown. Let's give him a platform. Trinidad and Tobago, we can save this nation. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be this bad. But we cannot wait for magic. We can't wait for Obe. The people we waited on is us. All of us. Stand up for your country, for yourself in the future, for now, for your loved ones, for your children. Stand up. The problems can be solved when we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, indicate that that is what we want done. Let them know your wishes. Stand up for your country. Be willing to sit down, stand up, stay home, shut it down. When called upon, stand with your neighbors. Stand up. That is the only way you will get real justice and real democracy in this country. get ready to stand together against the forces of evil that have put this country against the rope for 55 years. Yeah? Thank all of you for your time. See you tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.